African continent currently has a population of over 1.2 billion inhabitants, 60% of whom are the youth at the age of less than 25 years. Rwanda has a population of about 13 million, the larger portion of which are the youth. These are expected to come up with strategies for national development now and in the future.
For young people, therefore, as you keep growing, you keep expanding your understanding of the world, but also trying to make a contribution to the shaping of this world you are in. There are choices you make, there are investments you make, and there are things you expect as the outcomes. So for me, it is just to tell everyone here, the young people, that they have everything in themselves and around themselves to tap into, to grow themselves and to grow the society they are part of, in this case.
This is a kind of development that is highly needed, hinged upon their descendants and generations ahead. It's therefore a journey that requires a lot of effort and insight. Today, the Earth is increasingly faced with climate change, mainly due to degradation of environment components such as deforestation, air pollution, and the general imbalance in the Earth's ecosystem caused by human activities impeding reproduction of most of the organisms. With a population mostly composed of the youth, Rwanda's policies and daily activities, spearheaded by political leaders, are chiefly directed towards supporting the youth's ideas and actions that are intended for national development. Rwanda's development program integrates environment in all its aspects. Law number 48/2018 of the 13th of August 2018 on environment, in its article number 4 about environmental sustainability, ensures equal opportunities for all generations. Development rights must be ensured, taking into account contemporary need. This article engages the youth to put the environment at the forefront of their development endeavors in order to safeguard the livelihoods of their own generation and generations to come. The youth are ideally and practically committed to this duty in their development efforts in different sectors, with the support of the government and international organizations in one way or another.
We are implementing at the moment a huge project called the Eco Brigade project, where we look into opportunities for creating green jobs for young people. Through that project alone, in the 2019-2020 year, we managed to create about 5,000 jobs, 60% of which were for women and young girls.
Most youths have developed and implemented ideas in form of solutions, problems that are linked with environmental degradation due to human activity. They have created big businesses out of this and are aiming to showcase Rwanda through this environmental protection achievement.
Hari aho birindaga ko impapuro zajya hanze wenda bakabasomera ibyanditseho cyangwa iki badafite ahantu ho kuzibika neza, ugasanga barazitwika. Uwo mwotsi ugiye mu kirere wangiza ibidukikije. Ikindi kuriya impapuro bazita haba hariho imiti, amakartushe zishobora kugira ibindi bibazo mu butaka aho ziri kuborera, kuko iriya miti yo ntibora, ariko twebwe turazifata tukazibyaza umusaruro.
Rwanda's policies of 2015 contain an aspect of the youth and environment, with a population increase of 2.9% every year. The effect of human activity on environment also increases. These effects include soil erosion, progressive loss of arable land, as well as destructive rains and drought. It goes without mentioning that rural households, which are largely dependent on natural resources, are affected more than urban ones. 71% of the population aged 16 years and above depend mostly on agriculture. Natural resources must therefore be protected by using them adequately and sustainably. Being part of the development system, the youth's economic activities affect the environment negatively. Unfortunately, the government hasn't yet been able to harness all business opportunities without disturbing the environment. It is, therefore, indispensable to step up public awareness regarding protection of natural resources, where the youth would be at the same time partners and beneficiaries. This policy is implemented by the Rwanda Environment Management Authority, REMA, with the support of various stakeholders. This is aimed at improving the youth's involvement in job creation in the field of environmental protection by solving problems linked with environmental degradation. The youth are hereby trained and given the benefits linked to their own development, taking into account protection of the environment. This is indeed taking hold, since opportunities in this direction are available in favor of the youth.
They come in different forms. You could be directly working on a project or an activity that does environment protection. I'll take an example. You could be rehabilitating a wetland with an intention of promoting ecotourism. That is a green job, and ecotourism in itself will earn money to the person who is operating that project. It could also be an activity like in an industry. We have an example of an e-waste facility, for example. This is an industry which looks out for this electronic waste, does the dismantling of the waste, and manages to remove recyclable parts, sells them off, manages to remove precious metals from those electronic waste, and the operators get finances, get returns, get revenue out of those activities, and yet they're also saving the environment. It could also be activities of maybe manufacturing and supplying energy efficient cooking stoves. And here you're directly talking about reducing emissions to the environment, mitigating climate change, but also promoting the resilience of the people to the impacts of climate change.
The Rwanda Environmental Management Authority, REMA, in collaboration with the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, is fully determined to ensure support and follow-up of youth entrepreneurs. Through the Youth Connect program, UNDP has since 2013 been raising the level of understanding and the innovation spirit among the youth. On the other hand, REMA trains the youth at economic development strategies in a sustainable environment, highlighting business opportunities that are available in this sector. Within the youth training framework, REMA has also embarked on improving the level of understanding among youth representatives in all the 30 districts of Rwanda. In addition to that, United Nations Development Programme, the UNDP, has taken the lead in supporting the youth who are willing and ready for their economic development. Of course, in response to the environmental issues prevailing in Rwanda.
Even before the pandemic, the rate of redundance for young people losing jobs was the highest among all age groups. We recognized this at UNDP, and we've been working with many youth groups to address it. One of our flagship projects or initiatives, if you like, is the Eco Youth Brigade that we've been implementing here. Through the Eco Youth Brigade, we've been able to create about 5,000 jobs in the 2019-2020 period alone. And through Youth Connect, we've been able to create about 2,000 jobs. Of the 5,000 jobs that we created, I'm pleased to say, 60% of those were for women and young girls.
In the framework of youth training to help them come up with developmental solutions in response to prevailing environmental issues, REMA has decided to identify relevant youth business ideas that are environment friendly across the country. In 2020, when Rwanda was celebrating the World Environment Day, REMA, through the Project Environment Action (PEA), gave awards to young men and women with outstanding innovative environmentally friendly projects. These awards were given to 5 young men and women after a scrutiny carried out from the 19th to 22nd of May 2020 by REMA and the United Nations Development Programme UNDP and youth representatives from each district. These awards will undoubtedly help these youth to expand their projects, hence allowing them to grow.
Igihembo bampaye cyangiriye akamaro gakomeye cyane. Nakoraga recycling, yego nkora n'ibindi bijyanye no kubungabunga ibidukikije, ibyo mvuga byo gukora intebe ya, ariko icyo gihe nabikoraga nta bikoresho mfite, nkajya kwisunga abandi mu gakiriro, mbese n'ibintu byagaragaraga nkaho bingoye, byarangoraga cyane, ariko ubu ngubu nabashije kubona ibikoresho mbasha kwikorera. Noneho iyo ngiye ku designing intebe cyangwa n'ikindi, nta handi njya, aho nkorera iwanjye ku kazi kanjye niho bikorera, byose bikarangira neza kandi product ikagira ubwiza mba nifuza ko yagira.
Some of these youth projects are directed towards safeguarding the country's biodiversity. Rwanda and the whole world are under the threat of plastic pollution due to disposable plastic materials. Scientists have demonstrated that these plastics are having a serious negative impact on the world's biodiversity and natural resources. There is some evidence that a plastic lining may take 500 years in the soil before decaying completely. This indeed seriously affects the fertility of arable land. In addition to their presence in the soil, a larger percentage of these plastics are now found in oceans, where scientists are afraid that by 2050, if no radical means are taken, these plastics may occupy far larger spaces than the fish. The consequential events are undoubtedly impacting the life of humanity, which is at the helm of the world's ecosystem.
Izi plastike zikoreshwa rimwe iyo zigeze mu butaka ziratinda kubora, zigatinda ko zimara n'imyaka irenga 400 zikiri mu butaka. Ubwo yakwibaza icyo ingaruka z'icyo kintu, kimwe nuko urebye plastike ntago zituma amazi yinjira neza mu butaka, bivuga ngo hari ibintu byinshi y'amazi atageze mu butaka nibi bihingwa duhinga ntago byakwera. Ikindi wenda twavuga ni kureba ibinyabuzima muri usanga uko bibayeho. Niba plastike iri mu butaka, hari twa dusimba imyorogoto ituma ubutaka buhindukira, noneho bugatuma ubutaka buba bwiza, bugafasha igihingwa kwera. Iyo rero ibyo bikorwa byose bitakozwe, urumva ko muri rusange haba hamaze kuba ikibazo mu rubuga rwose rw'umuntu n'inyamaswa uko zigomba kubaho.
Although Rwanda also faces the problem of plastics, the government has taken adequate measures. In 2019, Law number 17/2019 was adopted relating to the prohibition of manufacturing, importation, and use and sale of plastic carry bags and single-use plastic items. It is also stipulated herein how plastic items can be recycled, how they are collected and disposed of in an environmentally friendly manner. Punishments related to the trespassing of this law, as well as utilization of unsubstitutable plastic items. In support of this government's effort, some youth have embarked on activities intending to mitigate the effects of plastics on the environment in general and on human life in particular. Some of them are collecting and gathering these plastics to transform them into art craft and other essential items. This constitutes an addition to national development in an environmentally friendly way, where these youth are determined to find solutions for their own development.
Berwa Crochet ibikorwa mwasangamwo ni byinshi cyane, ariko icyo twibandaho ni ibibungabunga ibidukikije. Mu by'ukuri dufata amacupa yayandi aba yatakaye mu mihanda, bajugunye mu mirima, bajugunye ahantu hatandukanye, twebwe tukayifata tukayidekora neza, tukayibyazamo umutako mwiza. Ikindi ntabwo ari amacupa y'ibirahure gusa, oya, n'amacupa ya plastic, amwe avamwo amazi, avamwo amaji ya plastic, nayo turayafata tukayakusanya, tukayasiga neza, akavamwo umutako mwiza cyane. Mu by'ukuri hari n'ikindi usanga bajugunye cyane, ikintu cyitwa imiheha, nacyo ntabwo kibora buriya. Imiheha nayo yangizaga ibidukikije cyane, ariko Berwa Clochette yaje gukemura icyo kibazo.
The idea of this young lady is not only directed towards management of disposable plastic waste, she has gone a step further to include other waste materials such as clothes, car tires, baskets and so on. These present a threat to the environment and are therefore dealt with in her business.
Umushinga wacu ugendanye n'ibidukikije kubera yuko dufata nk'imyenda yashaje, twebwe baba bayijugunye ahantu hatandukanye, twebwe tukayifata tukayikusanya, tukayibyazamwo amavaze. N'imifuka akenshi abantu bajya guhaha, bava guhaha bakayijugunya, twebwe turayitoragura tukayibyazamwo amatapi meza. Mu by'ukuri ndi kumva bya bindi batwikaga byangiza ikirere, oya, twebwe nibyo twirinda. Bya bindi bibora bijya mu murima, oya.
Forests also play the role of water filtration, climate balance, and are a source of rainfall. They control global warming and protect the soil from erosion and landslides, and are a natural habitat to 50% of the world's ecosystem. However, forests are seriously affected by human activity. Trees are mostly cut to provide essential items such as furniture, art craft such as beads, and so on. One of these ideas is to deal with the tires that are usually disposed of in water bodies or burnt in open air, thus constituting a serious hazard for human life. These tires are transformed into art craft and furniture that are normally manufactured from wood. These youth have turned into big entrepreneurs, highly contributing towards protection of Rwanda's forests.
Hari ibidukikije byangizwaga harimo umugezi wa Nyabugogo. Ayo mapine yajugunywaga muri ariya mazi. Mu by'ukuri nubwo ariya mazi tuyabona ko abasa nabi, hari igihe icyo gihe amazemo igihe utangira kubona hejuru y'ariya mazi hajeho urubobi rwivanzemo n'amavuta, kandi ntago abantu barashira bo kujyamo bagiye kuramo umucanga, so bibatera rero indwara z'uruhu rimwe na rimwe. Urumva rero byangirizaga ikirere mu gihe umwotsi uri kuzamuka bayatwika Rwantesco, naho ubwabo bikabagiraho ikibazo ku buryo washoboraga kujyayo uyu munsi, abo wasanzeyo uyu munsi wajya nka nyuma y'ukwezi ntubasange, wabaza ati se kubera iki, ati babivuyemo bagiye barwara guhumeka. Urumva rero ni ikibazo ku bidukikije ndetse no ku baturage muri rusange.
Intebe zanjye rero n'umushinga wanjye muri rusange n'umushinga ugamije kubungabunga ibidukikije. Murabona amapine y'imodokari atesha ikibazo, amamodokari bagenda bahindura amapine ariko ntibatekereza ku mapine ashaje icyo bayakoza. Nge rero umushinga wanjye waje gukemura ikibazo cyo kubungabunga ibidukikije kandi nkanakora n'isuku ahantu hose.
Protection of forests and finding wood substitutes are these youth's main concern. Ichirezi Marie Goretti's project is called Fashion Design and is designed to produce women's fashion items from waste paper. She developed this project for 3 reasons. 1. To limit tree cutting for bead production, bead manufacturing. 2. To limit the quantity of waste paper disposed of through burning. And 3. To limit the quantity of waste paper dumped in nature, with the concern that the ink present in the writings contains hazardous substances. According to her, this is a great contribution since it serves not only for producing these essential items but also for protecting humans against these potentially harmful substances as well as for the environmental protection in general.
Umushinga wacu ubungabunga ibidukikije ariko tugendeye ku mpamvu eshatu. Impamvu ya mbere hari ukugabanya ibiti byatemwaga kugira ngo bikorwemo amasaro. Impamvu ya kabiri, nko mu mashuri aho dukura impapuro, hari aho birindaga ko impapuro zajya hanze wenda bakabasomera ibyanditseho cyangwa iki, badafite ahantu ho kuzibika neza ugasanga barazitwika. Uwo mwotsi iyo ugiye mu kirere wangiza ibidukikije. Ikindi, kuriya impapuro bazita haba hariho imiti, amakartushe, zishobora kugira ibindi bibazo mu butaka aho ziri kuborera kuko iriya miti yo ntibora. Ariko twebwe turazifata tukazibyaza umusaruro kandi amasaro yacu akaba akomeye ku buryo akoreshwa no mu buryo burambye.
Most of these youth have a strong determination and have turned into big entrepreneurs. They have decided to work hard and waive the idea of seeking for employment. They stand as true friends of the environment and are fully determined to find all possible sustainable solutions to environmental degradation. Most of them are now employers, having turned into job creators instead of job seekers. They play a major role in the welfare of their employees and are providing important skills to these people. And through close collaboration with the grassroots authorities in various sectors, these youth are targeting social economic development for the people and their communities at large.
Ibintu byinshi dukoresha ntabwo tujya ku isoko ngo tubirangure ibintu bihenze. Ibyo turangura ni ibiza byongera ubwiza kuri bya bindi twakusanyije. Gereranyije rero nko ku kwezi dushobora gusigaza ibihumbi 500 n'abakozi n'abahembye.
Abungubu mfite abakozi 5 n'urubyiruko benshi, bamwe n'urubyiruko, mfitemo abakobwa 2 n'abahungu 3 n'urubyiruko. Kandi sibye nabo 5 hari n'abandi ngenda mpakazi mu buryo bumwe cyangwa ubundi, nk'umuntu ushobora kunzanira amapine transport akaba yayinzanira, ako nakazi mba nanze. Mbese akazi kanjye ntago kagarukira ku bakozi mpemba buri kwezi gusa.
Byibuze ku kwezi ntago bishobora kujya mu mafaranga twaba twungutse twakuyeho ayo tuzishyura wenda umusoro igihe nikigera cyo kwishyura imisoro, dukuyeho ayo kwishyura ibishingwe, umutekano, iki ku kwezi ntago bishobora kujya munsi y'ibihumbi 200.
On the other hand, these youth's deep concern for the environment and integration of this into their development plan is of great importance in their lives. They have indeed made giant strides in life in terms of skills development and profit making for the future. The profit was made out of these projects initially destined for community welfare that was under the threat of environmental degradation and for job creation for the needy and skills expansion for development.
Nk'urubyiruko hari inyungu nabonye mu kurengera ibidukikije. Izo nyungu akaba ari uko nakuyemo umushinga uyu munsi uri kumpa inyungu. Ikindi nuko nabashije kuba natanga akazi ku batari bagafite. Ikindi ndengera ibidukikije mu buryo abaturage na societe nari ntuyemo nabo byabagiriye akamaro ko batazongera kugirwaho n'izo ngaruka kuba bagira izo ndwara barwara. Ikindi nuko nyuma yuko natangiye uyu mushinga wo kubungabunga werekeye mu kubungabunga ibidukikije no ku giti cyanjye nagizeho hari ingaruka wangizeho nziza. Izo ngaruka nziza rero akaba ari uko nabashije kubona scholarship yo muri African Leadership University biturutse muri uyu mushinga. Ikindi nuko ku giti cyanjye nabashije kuva ku rwego rumwe ngera ku rundi, aho nagiye nsindira amarushanwa nka Youth Connect Competition 2019 aho nabaye second runner up. Ikindi nuko ku munsi wo kurengera ibidukikije Rema yabashije nayo kumpa ishimwe ndetse intera n'inkunga. Ibyo byose rero byaturutse mu ko nabashije gutekereza umushinga wo kubungabunga ibidukikije.
These are quite tangible benefits the youth got from the concept and realization of their projects with the support of the Rwanda Environmental Management Authority (REMA) and the United Nations Development Programme (UNDP). This support was given in form of skills development and awards in recognition to the positive change these youth have brought to the country, aiming at environmental protection as well as development for themselves and their respective communities. Most of these young people can easily testify the benefits of hard working, of course, bearing in mind the role of the environment in human life, the life of the nation, and for future generations.
Icyo nabwira urubyiruko mu bijyanye no gukora imishinga yabo, bakwiye gukora imishinga yabo cyane cyane bashingiye ku bakagendera no ku bijyanye no kubungabunga ibidukikije, kubera yuko mu kubungabunga ibidukikije harimo amahirwe menshi. Harimo amahirwe nibakora iyo mishinga, nibashyira imbaraga zabo mu mishinga yabo bagabungabunga ibidukikije, bazabunguka ubugira kabiri, bazunguka amafaranga nka business itera imbere, kandi nanone bunguke ko bazaba ari kubungabunga ibidukikije bakangurira abaturage by'umwihariko abakiriya babo kutangiza ibidukikije. Urabona umubumbe turiho ni umubumbe umwe, uko ubuzima tugenda tubwangiriza twangiza ibidukikije niko natwe tugenda twiyangiriza ubuzima twese, kandi dukunda ubuzima bwacu, nta wakunda kwiyahura. Ibyiza rero nibashyiremo imbaraga mu mishinga yo kubungabunga ibidukikije, harimo amahirwe menshi, niba byinjiramo bazabibona.
Abumva babyifuza baza tukabigisha nabo bakamenya umwuga nk'uwo dukora. Ikindi ntibacike intege, buri muntu wese icyo ashoboye ashobora kugiteza imbere kandi kigakunda.
However, these youth strongly acknowledge that perseverance is a key prerequisite for any enterprise, since there are always some stumbling blocks in life. However, these hurdles are often a hardening factor that induces resilience and success in an even more difficult situation. In March 2020, the first case of COVID-19 was reported in Rwanda. This pandemic has had serious repercussions on the economy of this country and the world as a whole. Although these youth are among those that have been seriously affected by this pandemic, instead of losing hope, it has pushed them to widen their thoughts for expansion and self-reliance.
Byaje bidutunguye, hari nk'amaproduit twari turi gukora y'abakiriya, umukiriya agahita avuga ati rero ntabwo ntibashije gushobora kwishyura nyuma yuko tuvuye muri guma mu rugo kubera ko ntari mbyiteguye. So ukibaza se uramuha produit atarangije kukwishyura, ese urayigumana nawe umuhe ya mafaranga 40% abanza kuguha kugira ngo umukorere ya avance. Ibyagiye bibaho gutyo. Ikindi nuko abakiriya baragabanutse, mu by'ukuri baragabanutse kuko ubuzima bwabaye nkaho nyine bwahindutse bitunguranye. Ikindi ntago uko twinjizaga ariko byagumye, nubwo twa turi muri guma mu rugo na nyuma yaho, kubera yuko ntago navuga yuko mu bihe twari turimo ibyo dukora byari nka basic needs, byabaye nkaho ari ibindi bintu byaza ariko atari priority cyane, nk'ibiryo, nko kwivuza. So rero ingaruka byatugizeho nuko hari abakiriya twagiye tubura bitewe nuko nabo bahuye niyo covid batunguye.
Covid nta muntu itakozeho, natwe yadukozeho. Turakora ariko ntabwo tubona abakiriya benshi cyane, ko baraza bakabishima ni byiza, ariko mu by'ukuri ntabwo amafaranga ahari tuzabagurira ibihe n'ibigenda neza.
There has been a veritable revolution in both their action and thoughts. They are aiming to broaden their sphere of influence and to showcase their motherland by exporting their action as farthest as possible. To make this possible, they need the support from the government, international organizations, and other well-wishing partners.
Icyambere n'uruganda rwagutse rwo gukora amasaro. Byibura muri East Africa cyangwa muri Afrika muri rusange tukaba dufite uruganda rukora amasaro natwe. Bitari ngombwa yuko dutekereza yuko amasaro yose akorerwa mu Bushinwa. Ikindi tukaba dusohora product nyinshi zihagije ku buryo buri muntu wese aho ari yaba atunze product yacu mu nzu ye kandi ivuye muri aya masaro dukora.
haba inzego bwite za leta n'abafatanyabikorwa bagiye batandukanye, numva bakomeza kutuba hafi bakadufasha. Hari aho umuntu agera bikanga rwose mu buryo bugaragara, ariko tuba dukeneye inama zabo, tuba dukeneye ubufasha bwabo bijyanye n'amafaranga kugira ngo dukomeze dutere imbere.
These wishes are addressed at different levels in the life of the nation, highly considered by these youth. The youth, being the future of this nation, anything directed towards their development and that of their current enterprise is a real cornerstone in building the nation now and in the future, and this requires support in all its aspects. The Rwanda Environment Management Authority, REMA, shows that supporting these youth in their development and environmental protection endeavor is part of REMA's assignment. This institution will continue to support them and any other newcomers ready to enter the fight against poverty and for national development. However, their activities need to be in line with the government's policy integrating the environment into development plans.
No surprise, they are growing in an environment which allows them to explore different things. They have internet, IT, digital, solutions at their disposal. So they are exploring all these, but they're also in a culture that promotes hard work and resilience. So the mixture of all this is giving us a product of youth that has a lot of ambitions, and we see a brighter future. So I'm just preaching to the converted. We know they are already doing well where they are, but we are just reminding, like parents, we shall always keep reminding the youth out there to think more, to explore all opportunities. There are so many. There are many here in Rwanda, there are many globally, and what REMA is doing is to simply be a platform for them to reach out to all these opportunities that are available. So the message to the youth out there, the sky is no longer the limit. You have the potential. Look out for all the projects. Create many green and decent jobs for your young siblings to grow up and find you already in that journey. Employ other big people, you can employ more other big people who are not employed as yet, and then show the world that you can use natural resources, earn a decent living, but also promote the environment.
Rwanda's vision is economic growth and the development of her people, taking into account environmental protection as enshrined in international conventions adopted by the country, stipulating the measures to be taken and how these are to be implemented to protect the environment. The larger portion of Rwanda's population that is increasingly growing is composed of the youth. Being the core source of labor for the nation, these youth must be integrated into all development plans so that they can give their contribution. Supporting the youth in their development endeavors is the task of Rwanda's government at all levels possible. However, all these activities must be oriented in the direction of protecting the environment, which is indeed at the threshold of life and well-being on our planet Earth.